Join us in this holy moment as we open our spirits to the eternal grace and boundless love of the Creator. They presumed themselves the undisputed challengers, ready to assert supremacy and flaunt their routine prowess, but this time they've overstepped. Craving a skirmish, they failed to see that their target isn't just another pawn in their petty contests. Unbeknownst to them, they've provoked someone handpicked by forces far greater than their own. They stand before someone chosen for a sacred calling, an individual who wields not only earthly arms, but also an immense spiritual mandate. They sought battle, yet they've awakened an adversary far beyond their imagining, the very power of the divine. Their gravest error lies in grossly underestimating who they have provoked. They tallied their odds against a merely mortal foe, one they saw as frail flesh and blood, easy to corner with mundane tactics. But their calculations overlook a profound truth. They've mistook you for a simple challenger, their senses dulled by willful blindness and deafness. In their naivete, they fail to grasp that by striking at you, they've set loose powers beyond any human command. Both sides must function within the same dimensional restrictions in conventional combat. The principles of physics govern how their weaponry work. Their tactics rely on human psychology, which is predictable. Their success depends on using suffering, fear, and loss to weaken people's wills. What occurs, though, if their target has supernatural support? When probability is subordinated to divine intervention, what happens to their meticulous plans? For someone who travels with complete assurance of divine protection, how successful are terror tactics? When understanding eventually overcomes their conceit, the moment that lies ahead of them is unavoidable. Observe how their faces change from assurance to perplexity to the initial shudders of true fear. Witness the knowledge that their attacks make you stronger rather than weaker. Watch their frantic scurrying as everything they toss at you becomes stepping stones, lifting you up. Your shield of faith dissolves their weapons. Your spiritual armor is breached by their psychological warfare. Blinding light reveals their underground operations. You get stronger the harder they fight, turning every blow into fuel for your holy goal. The chosen are embraced by the universe. Your focused intention causes the physical world to change. When you direct your will, something that seems solid and unalterable to others becomes fluid and malleable. Before you get to the handle, doors that are securely locked against one another swing open. Resources frequently come from unpredictable sources and appear exactly when needed. While others battle with perplexity, solutions come to you completely formed. Keep an eye out for the numerous coincidences that surround your movements, those statistically improbable alignments that cynics write off as pure luck, that fortunate break that saved everything, that fortunate timing that put you in the ideal position, that unexpected opportunity that came just when you needed it. There is no such thing as luck in your story. Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. Test me in this, says the Lord of hosts, and see if I will not throw open the windows of heaven and pour out for you a blessing until there is no more need. Malachi 3 verse 10. Today, partner with us by giving $50 via Super Thanks, and watch heaven's floodgates swing wide on your behalf. Your journey has nothing to do with chance. In your life, random chance has no power. Every advantage that appears to be a coincidence is actually the result of deliberate planning by invisible forces that are constantly at work in your favor. Reality is restructured by the creative power of your words. Impossibilities become inevitable, circumstances realign, and molecules rearrange when you speak with conviction that comes from your spiritual connection. You benefit from the physical rules that bind others. The universe genuinely shifts in response to your authority, not because you have some genetic advantage or insider information, but rather because of forces that are beyond human comprehension and are aware of the mark you bear. The mantle is laid upon your shoulders, and they see it. They recognize the purpose that is ingrained in your soul. You are surrounded by unbreakable walls, known as invisible shields, which divert what would otherwise destroy an unprotected person. See how attacks directed at you inexplicably turn around and hit their creators with startling accuracy. Observe how schemes intended to bring you down always fall apart at crucial times. Your adversaries scratch their heads in confusion. When they aim their finely constructed guns at you, they mysteriously misfire. Their painstakingly crafted traps explode. You are unexplainably prepared or curiously missing during their well-timed ambushes. An inexplicable feeling about someone's hidden intentions, which reveals the betrayal before it materializes. That dream that provides crucial information, which solves problems you haven't yet encountered. Or that sudden overwhelming urge to change direction, which protects you from the danger lurking around the corner, are all examples of the early warning system that operates within you and cannot be explained by technology. In areas beyond human vision, higher intelligence networks are always at work, keeping an eye on threats, sending out protection, and thwarting operations that are intended to harm you. Supernatural forces strive ceaselessly to secure your prosperity and safety while your conscious mind concentrates on your everyday responsibilities. The reputation of the assassins who are pursuing your character is suddenly called into doubt. Organizations who are organizing against you find that internal conflict is suddenly exploding. People who are planning to ruin your career see their own careers collapse due to unanticipated events. Regardless of your spiritual awareness, physical state, or emotional state, it works flawlessly. The protection is unaffected and continues to function at its peak even when your trust falters, when uncertainties obscure your judgment, or when fear momentarily takes control. Their united front breaks along fault lines of conflicting interests, secret resentments, and competing agendas, turning what starts out as confident resistance into desperate scrambling. As pressure increases and resources decrease, former allies turn against one another. Their meticulously crafted stories grow increasingly faulty. When inconsistencies emerge, credibility is undermined. Lies need to be maintained constantly, but the truth is unaffected by suppression and becomes stronger with each effort. Observe their growing fatigue, as maintaining their lies requires ever-increasing energy. Watch as their strategies backfire more frequently and more severely. Attacks that are intended to weaken your influence instead spread your message to a larger audience. When compared to their tactics, campaigns that aim to undermine your credibility really serve to emphasize your honesty. When someone tries to isolate you, they end up finding you strong allies they never expected. Observe the decline in their mental health as their certainty wanes. Paralyzing doubt replaces the unwavering confidence that sparked their onslaught. Confusion and turmoil replace strategic clarity. Audacious public declarations become hushed inquiries. Yellowheart if you're moved by divine love. Now is the moment to share it. Click the Super Thanks button on YouTube and contribute $50 or more to help us broadcast God's blessings far and wide. Every act of generosity you make is being watched in heaven and will return to you 100-fold. Who are we actually battling? What's awoken us? How do we go away from what we've let loose? The instant they chose you as their target, not because of any unique qualities you possess, but because of the cosmic power supporting your mission, their failure was assured. They positioned themselves against the powers that govern reality itself, rather than just declaring war on humans. With every day that goes by, the collapse gains momentum and accelerates. What started out as small setbacks escalates into a systemic breakdown. Vulnerability exposes them on all sides, when before they worked from positions of strength. As divine justice methodically destroys everything they created via lies and trickery, the very foundation beneath their feet becomes more and more unstable. Conventional intelligence uses a limited number of channels to process information, drawing conclusions based on observable facts and sound reasoning. Bypassing typical filtration processes, your perception functions differently, integrating knowledge through enlarged awareness. While some solutions get trapped in analytical cycles, others seem completely developed in your imagination. You can see intents concealed beneath well-made masks. Where others perceive simply random occurrences, you find patterns. You foresee events long before the evidence is apparent to the average viewer. From the outside, your choices frequently seem irrational, seemingly nonsensical decisions that turn out to be prophetically correct. You constantly put yourself in the best possible position for events that no one else sees coming, even though your actions make no sense given the knowledge at hand. With divine authority, truth becomes your most potent weapon. Defenses built to fend off traditional attacks are breached by what you say. Your words cause spirits that are ready to awaken to recognize you. By transforming present impossibilities into future realities, your pronouncements lay the groundwork for manifestation. Your supernatural discernment defeats every attempt to overwhelm you with volume or confuse you with complexity. In front of your spiritual perception, deceptions that are successful in misleading extremely clever people are exposed. Circular logic-based arguments that try to ensnare you fall apart when you adopt a transcendent viewpoint. This knowledge functions through immediate knowing rather than sequential thinking, beyond intellectual capacity. While others concentrate on outward symptoms, it incorporates multifaceted awareness that sees underlying causes. While traditional analysis is stuck in fragmented understanding, it processes entire systems. The realization that split your life into clear before and after stages was the turning point in which everything changed. Maybe it came about as a result of a crisis that tore away cozy illusions. Perhaps it defied statistical likelihood and appeared gradually through increasing synchronicities. It might have exploded in quick, overwhelming discovery. Throughout your early years, signs appeared, clues that pointed you in the direction of your destiny. Unexplained intuitions that turned out to be true despite having no logical basis. Dreams that contained information that could not be discovered through normal means, and recurring thoughts that persisted no matter how much you tried to distract yourself. You always had an inner compass that pointed toward the reality underlying appearances, a sense of truth that went beyond what most people believed. Something in your spirit resisted complete integration into systems based on basic lies, while mass consciousness adopted communal narratives. Your awareness gradually changed from traditional processing to heightened consciousness. The colors became more intense. Around persons and objects, energy fields became apparent. Undercurrents of emotion become palpable. Silent ideas came to life. Physical world was layered with spiritual elements. The world uses symbols to communicate with you. Now, commonplace events become signals for your personal comprehension only. Important numerical patterns can be seen on license plates. There are terms in overheard discussions that specifically target your position. Books open to sections that provide answers to questions that are starting to arise in your head. Randomly selected songs provide lyrics that exactly reflect the task you are currently facing. Street signs combine to form messages that only your active perception can decipher. The recalibration of your DNA itself awakens latent genetic potential that science cannot explain. Cellular structures rearrange themselves into configurations that are more functional. Improved processing networks are formed from neural circuits. As your body learns to channel more potent energetic frequencies without causing system damage, physical restrictions vanish. Naturally, there was first reluctance to following your calling. When knowledge threatens existing identity systems, the human mind develops defense mechanisms. When the ego is faced with cosmic growth, it desperately upholds known bounds. When greatness demands emergence, fear produces compelling excuses for staying small. But in the end, your awakening was too strong to resist. Alignment with your actual self triumphed over the fleeting solace of restriction. The cosmos made too much investment in your growth to permit a lasting detour from your chosen course. Long before open conflict broke out, forces beyond human comprehension carefully removed barriers that prevented your full activation. The opposition forces detected a harmful frequency in you. Their defense mechanisms were activated by your very presence. Control structures that depended on human cooperation were put in danger by your genuine presence. Your sovereign energy was enough to threaten them. You didn't have to openly oppose their plan. Through systematic undermining, social isolation, opportunity blocking, relationship sabotage, financial limitation, and reputational harm, operations intended to seem like unlucky circumstances rather than planned suppression, subtle warfare targeted you. Rather than being purposefully imposed, hardships are designed to appear arbitrary. They saw potential that lay dormant in your soul, and they felt your latent power before you completely embraced it. Frequency patterns that indicated future likelihood paths, where your awakened presence interfered with their operational control, were picked up by their systems. Instead of focusing on your fleeting appearance, they took proactive measures to prevent what you would eventually become. Dove brothers and sisters, everything done in faith multiplies in God's abundance. Use the Super Thanks feature to donate $100 today and join this sacred mission. When your roots are grounded in Him, your fruit will flourish, and your offering becomes a seed that bears blessed harvests. All targeting of the chosen is motivated by fear and jealousy. Expressions of true freedom are intolerable to those with limiting intentions. Authentic sovereignty cannot inspire others, according to controllers. Systems that rely on volunteer compliance cannot let their meticulously cultivated people get infected with contagious awakening. Invariably, darkness strives to smother new light. Light inevitably, naturally, and automatically reveals what needs to be kept secret in order to work. Deceptions required for mass manipulation are exposed by light. Continuous exploitation is made possible by light, which awakens consciousness from artificially induced drowsiness. Their resistance only validates your importance. Your genuine power is validated by their targeting. They take your potential effects seriously, as seen by their efforts to stifle your rise. They wouldn't spend any money trying to stop your growth if you weren't a real threat to their systems. Spiritual assurance is unaffected by temporary circumstances, but egoic confidence varies with the situation and needs ongoing reinforcement. Attacks from the outside that would destroy normal identity structures bounce off your created inner authority without causing any harm. There is no matching frequency in your brain for criticism intended to incite shame. Your unwavering self-recognition is defeated by mockery meant to create self-doubt. Increased pressure strengthens your inner conviction. Compression turns carbon into diamond. You become something that cannot be broken by what breaks others. What shatters weak identities makes you more conscious of who you are and why you are here on earth at this exact moment. An eternal flame ignited from causes outside of human origins burns inside your chest. This sacred fire cannot be hidden by seclusion, lessened by resistance, or extinguished by outside forces. It constantly renews from an endless supply, offering light when darkness approaches, warmth when temperatures drop, and purifying when contamination poses a hazard. Your voice contains undertones that are only audible to awakened consciousness, harmonic frequencies that, in prepared listeners, transcend intellectual filtering mechanisms and reach soul-level recognition directly. Those who are meant to be aligned with your message feel a connection that defies rational explanation. Words that leave your mouth contain activations beyond semantic meaning as they cross dimensions before reaching their ears. Knowing that you were chosen by God brings a sense of calm certainty. The universe is supporting your earthly mission. Beyond human opinion, your value declaration was formed before you were born, validated by supernatural intervention throughout your existence, and confirmed by your trip. Your perception of yourself functions independently of what other people think of you. It is neither enhanced by compliments nor deflated by criticism. You are able to identify feedback without being characterized by it. You are corrected without losing your identity. You take criticism in stride without losing your temper. The manipulation vectors that are usually effective against human psychology are eliminated by this indestructible inner core. You are immune to the approval addiction that uses reward systems for compliance. Rejection triggers that result in behavioral change through threats of desertion do not affect you. Regardless of support, criticism, or consensus, you keep moving forward. Divine timing follows a flawless calculation that is incomprehensible to humans. From an earthly perspective, what seems delayed is actually a precise cosmic orchestration that takes into consideration an unlimited number of variables. Alignment with higher chronology, as opposed to a reactive reaction to seeming urgency, is how your strategic advantage manifests. Gaining a crucial tactical edge comes from letting opponents fully unveil themselves before engaging. An early response limits knowledge of their resources and plans while exposing your position. Strategic patience maintains your operational security while enabling thorough threat evaluation. When justice is administered in accordance with divine timing, complete resolution is attained as opposed to fleeting satisfaction. While addressing symptoms, rushed vengeance preserves the underlying processes. Both the outward manifestation and the underlying generating patterns are eliminated by strategic intervention carried out at the ideal moment in time. The master-level tactic is to appear weak while gaining power. Opponent overextension is encouraged by perceived weakness, which exposes capabilities that operational discipline would otherwise conceal. When an adversary is totally exposed, underestimating allows for a decisive response that uses maximum resources with the least amount of resistance. Your timeline doesn't follow the rules of traditional temporal flow. Instead of human expectations, cosmic scheduling dictates how events transpire. Breakthrough occurs exactly when perfect reception conditions, strategic value intersections, and maximum efficacy come together, neither early nor late. With the exception of temporal distortion, which is a normal part of higher functioning, things that look excruciatingly slow during the process phase will appear instantaneous when evaluated after the fact. When working outside of traditional chronological bounds, decades condense into moments and seconds enlarge into eternities. Doors open just when they're needed. Every time a human solution fails, opportunities present themselves with the supernatural timing. Unexpected pathways lead to the manifestation of resources. Provision comes from sources that are not foreseeable by traditional planning. Directions that are missed by insufficient strategic calculation provide support. Keep a close eye on how people come into your life at pivotal moments, bearing precisely what you need for your next stage. Some provide abilities that fill up the gaps in your development. Others provide access to settings that would otherwise be out of your control. Others offer information that is necessary for future difficulties that are not obvious from your current perspective. You never work alone, despite appearances. Despite your physical seclusion or seeming desertion, enormous networks are always working for you, organizing help without your knowledge. When authorized through the appropriate channels, legions are prepared for instant deployment. Glowing star yearning to witness God's miracles firsthand, plant your spiritual seed now by contributing $100 or more through the YouTube Super Thanks button. Your offering lights the path for others and echoes through His divine plan, bringing His light into every step you take. Your adversaries are astounded by your unfathomable fortitude, baffled by your apparent 9 lives, and wonder how you manage to keep moving forward in the face of enormous resistance. The invisible support system that operates beyond material limitations is invisible to them. Conventional channels are unable to provide what supernatural supply lines can. Instead of being redistributed in a zero-sum fashion, resources are sent to you by enigmatic multiplication. Supernatural provision produces expansion that defies mathematical explanation in situations where natural systems call for the reallocation of resources. Thousands are fed by 5 loaves. Containers that are empty overflow. Limited supply goes beyond what is physically possible. Established supernatural networks that function under a distinct system of governance than terrestrial ones provide financial support, emotional support, strategic intelligence, physical protection, and innovative solutions. Their dependability is unaffected by societal consensus, governmental stability, or economic circumstances. The time is drawing near when the public will see your opponent's covert intentions and deeds. When protective concealment is lost during operations carried out under secrecy. What darkness momentarily obscured is revealed by light. What falsehood temporarily hides is revealed by truth. The manifestation of justice occurs when seemingly unrelated events come together, circumstances that fit mathematically precisely and cannot be explained by chance. Exposure comes through avenues that your rivals were unaware of. Sources they believed to be permanently silenced provide evidence. Witnesses emerge from what are thought to be securely compromised positions. Everything that has been taken or attacked during a fight is systematically restored, frequently returning with an increased value. Relationships harmed by targeted character assassination recover with more influence and a stronger sense of loyalty. Intentionally obstructed opportunities resurface with more authority and scope. When vindication is eventually unleashed, the effect is amplified by your patience and restraint during the process. When compared to the methods used by your opponents, those who witness your persistently moral behavior in the face of provocative opposition perceive a deep sense of integrity. You establish unquestionable moral authority by refusing to use adversary techniques, even if it gives you a short-term benefit. Previously misled by meticulously crafted narratives, witnesses now understand what they have been witnessing. As constructed perception filters collapse in the face of overwhelming data, scales fall from eyes. Those who engaged in your persecution out of ignorance are aware of the manipulation that drove their misplaced resistance. Personal defense or explanation is no longer necessary when one is divinely vindicated. Once the truth is completely known, campaigning is no longer necessary. Your remaining silent during the allegation permits full communication through the final result. While adversaries created complex defenses for their acts, you merely kept on moving forward and let the results speak for themselves. Warfare that is meant to destroy you turns into the very thing that gives you the power you have never had before. Opposition that aims to lessen your influence instead spreads your message to a wider audience. Your words reach hitherto unreachable people when you are persecuted to suppress your voice. Surviving targeted attacks directly leads to unexpected promotion. Unquestionable credibility is established by your proven resilience. People who see you navigating through deliberately designed adversity understand sincerity that could never be established by theoretical instruction alone. Abstract ideas become concrete realities as a result of your lived experience. Your next-level assignment was prepared for by this combat. Pressure produced the density required for impending obligations. Resistance led to the development of muscles. Challenge sharpened skills. Test derived character. Each assault reinforced exactly what your heavenly mission needs to be fulfilled. Your reaction to criticism demonstrated genuine character strength that had not before been seen in comfortable situations. Under pressure, true nature shows up, either supporting or refuting preconceived notions about oneself. You reached heights of power, depths of courage, and levels of wisdom that were previously unattainable via persistent attack. Identity transformation advances from combatant on the battlefield to authority and governance, from warrior to ruler in your realm. While fighting creates territory, ruling fosters prosperity inside defended borders. Your well-earned successes lay the groundwork for others to succeed. Collective emancipation is made possible by your effective resistance. Everything that was intended to hurt you reorganizes into elements that will help you rise. When properly integrated, every attack becomes an asset. When viewed from a spiritual viewpoint, every obstacle becomes a chance. More resources are available for your construction after victory. The more they invest in your destruction. They want conflict with a human adversary. They had divine support for their conflict. They anticipated defeating isolated resistance with ease. Through celestial intervention, they were completely defeated. Keep in mind your backers. Keep in mind what passes through you. Recall the reason they singled you out. You have been selected. They proclaimed war. They have only just started to realize the forces they have unleashed against themselves, and now they are up against God.